what's up, everybody? Brant here for CPC Bodybuilding, the best channel in men's classic physique. Again, make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video. Boost that algorithm. Subscribe to the channel as well. So, like I mentioned, guys, we had a huge weekend in classic physique, and we got two new Olympia qualifications. So we had the Tupelo Pro and the Muscleworld Pro, which took place in Brazil. So these were shows that we kind of had a good idea who was going to win heading in, especially that Muscleworld Pro. We knew who the contenders were. Now, this Tupelo show, it turned out to be a very interesting one as well, because both of these shows produced winners who have never been to the Olympia yet. So we're going to get into those results. So make sure you guys follow me here on Instagram. This is where I'm putting all the best classic physique content in addition to my YouTube page. So here you can find me. The handle is CPC Bodybuilding, the exact same as the YouTube page. Give me a follow there. So Tupelo Pro turned out to be pretty exciting. So we had Kim Angel of Spain making his classic debut in this show. And in our prediction video, Jared and I had Kim doing very well. Jared actually picked him to win this show. I had Kim finishing second heading in, and he ended up just taking the show by storm. You can see why. Like, really solid all around, just very balanced, very bubbly looking muscle, good flow, classic lines, and just he's a huge dude, brought the fullness, and I think that's what won him this show especially. So Kim Angel is a guy making his classic debut, and now he'll be making his Olympia debut. So in his very first classic show, he had been a men's physique pro, decided to move up to classic. He's going to the Olympia after one classic show, which is super impressive. And I got to say, hell of a job for Kim Angel to get to the Olympia in just one classic show. Now we'll get through like the rest of these guys too, because I think there's some guys I want to highlight here who are going to continue to compete, but also have a good shot at going to the Olympia and some other shows coming up, including Jeff Hollenbeck. So Jeff was in second place here, pretty clear in that top two with Kim. So they were holding down center for the majority of prejudging. From the photos that I saw, I didn't attend, but Jeff brought that signature condition that he always does, just hard as nail, dug out, super separated, and he's got good flow, really crisp lines. And Jeff has just an awesome physique, man. And you can see here in this ab and thigh, some of the show photos I don't think do him enough justice, but this guy is really impressive, and I think he's going to keep going after this. So Jeff has a very good shot of going back to the Olympia. He was there in 2022, so Jeff Hollenbeck there in second. In third place, we had Mahfouz Hawit, a rookie. This guy's strengths include his condition. The muscularity is great too. The way he's posing this shot, his legs don't look the biggest, but when he's like straight on in this shot, huge legs. When he turns around, he's got a great back, lots of detail. Arms are crazy full. The biceps and the triceps look extremely full in this shot. Really like his front double bicep, his back double bicep. Those are great shots for him. And he's always on point with the condition. Alex Connors there in fourth place out of Australia. Beautiful front lat spread, great shape, taller guy. And we've seen over the course of this season, Alex continue to bring a better package to every show. In fifth, we had Joe Bridie out of the UK. This guy is part of that Team No Waste post that Daniel from Bodybuilders Without Borders made pretty recently. And you can see like the dude has virtually no waist, wide lats, very broad shoulders. He's a taller guy, and this guy has so much potential, and he's moving up in the ranks. I mean, this year we saw his best looks as the weeks progressed, from Tampa to Texas, and then finishing out here in Tupelo. I think Joe has a lot to be proud of, and he's only going to get better from here. I know that, as he continues to just put on size. So Joe Bridie there in fifth place. And then in sixth place, we had Victor Compan out of Mexico. This was probably Victor's best pro placing, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think his condition was quite where it needed to be, but he's got good flow, good symmetry, balance, you name it. I think really solid. If this guy nails the condition, he's in that top five. So Victor Compan there in sixth. In seventh, Damian Ricketts. This guy is another guy with just crazy density, packs a ton of muscle on his frame. He's a shorter guy, and he won the Masters 35 division here as well. In eighth, we had Peter Duper. Ninth, Gabriel Aguirre. 10th, Michael DeAngelis. 11th, Seth Goss. 12th, Abdul Gibbs. 13th, Michael Lopez. And 14th, Mark Kenyon. So those are your results from the Tupelo Pro. Let's get into the show down in Brazil. So I put a post up the night before. We had two heavy hitters heading into the show who I thought would be contending for that top spot. So here is Matheus Menegace, finished second at the Texas Pro by split decision, just losing by 1 point to Gabriel Zoncanelli, who many would regard as the second best classic physique pro out of Brazil. So Matheus was one of the favorites heading in, as well as Lucas Morales. So Lucas Morales is a guy who's pretty consistently in like that top 4 or 5 of every Brazil Pro show. Great shape, flow, lines, separation, balance. I think his front shots are pretty amazing. But, you know, heading into the show, these were our two contenders. But the guy who ended up taking the whole show was Matheus Menegace. Ended up winning this show. And this guy is just crazy impressive for a rookie. I think he could be top 10 at the Olympia this year if everything goes his way. If he nails that final look, just brings in the condition just a little bit more and, you know, potentially refines some of the posing, this guy could be a threat. Just very, very good. Like, if we look at his condition, especially in the front shots, it's beautiful. Incredibly separated throughout the quads, the midsection. The vacuum is such a nice shot on him. He's got wide lats, a very tiny waist, great taper, broad shoulders. Like, this guy is super, super talented. I would say the one area for improvement condition wise is like just the posterior needs to match the front in terms of the condition. You're not going to see any of these back double biceps in any of these posts probably, but Matheus is extremely solid and holds his own. Now, as the years progress and he continues to put on muscle, this guy's going to really start to become a threat here in Classic because he's got all the tools. He's a younger guy. Incredible work ethic, of course, because he's put on, I mean, if I had to guess, probably something like 10 kilos worth of muscle in a year, which is absurd. And it's quality muscle too, which is very impressive. So Matheus Menegace of Brazil ended up winning the Muscleworld Pro there in Brazil. Now, I also want to highlight the other guys that were there in the top 5. So we thought Lucas was going to be that other guy kind of contending for that top spot, but the guy who actually came out of the gate and compared with Matheus was Luan Souza. So Luan Souza here is the guy who finished in second place. He was also second earlier at the Brazil Pro this year to Junior Jaworski, a huge guy. You can see takes up so much space, but ton of muscle on this guy. Really good shape too. The arms and the legs stand out to me. He doesn't have like the biggest lats, but he does have this very tiny waist. I think if he just continues to build his lats and continues to build his back, this guy's also another Brazilian who is a potential threat here in Classic Physique. So Luan Souza ended up taking second place. And then in third place, we had Matheus Lopez, who is pictured here. He works with Justin Jacoby, who is known for getting his athletes in very good condition and showcasing a very nice peak on stage. And Matheus was sick earlier in the year when he competed at the Brazil Pro, so we didn't see his best look there, but this look is much cleaner, much crisper. So Matheus Lopez, aka Shigeru, brought a really, really nice classic physique to this show. I think what he really showcases is great balance and proportion. He's got very, very ideal ratios from different body parts. The lines are very clean, etched in, the detail is there, and he's not the biggest guy, but in classic physique, if you have the shape, the structure, the balance, the flow, the proportions, if you nail the condition, you're going to be in the mix. And that's what Shigeru's physique is displaying right here. So third place for him. Now, Lucas Morales was the guy who, like I said, we expected him to be contending for that top spot with Mateus. Ended up falling to fourth place. If I had to guess, he probably was just not from the back quite as good as some of these other guys. I think the back double bicep is probably his weakest pose. But again, I think Lucas is very good, very classic. You can see from the front double bicep, I think this is his best shot. Probably just needs a little bit more in the back, maybe a little bit in the legs too. But Lucas Morales there in fourth place. And then in fifth place, we had Zardo, who this guy is an extremely hard worker. Great detail, always super peeled. And he probably is not the most gifted genetically, but he makes up for it with the muscularity, the density, the lines, the condition that he brings. And Zardo is very consistently a top 5 guy in virtually any show that he competes in. And again, we see here in this very deep lineup in Brazil. So those were our shows from the past weekend, guys. The Tupelo Pro as well as the Muscleworld Pro. Now, in terms of upcoming coverage, I want to highlight that we only have one Classic Physique Pro show coming up this week. That would be the Tokyo Pro, which is going to take place on Sunday, August 26th, I believe. So actually, that would be Sunday, August 25th. So the Tokyo Pro is going to be a really big show in Asia. They tend to put on a great show. Lots of the best in Asia compete in it. I'll have a preview of that show up for you guys sometime on Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. I'll be having Brian Au, who is a Classic Physique Pro from Hong Kong, preview that show with me. But coming up in terms of coverage, I'll be covering some of these shows in person coming up. We've got the RGV Pro in Texas, the Florida Pro, its first year on the Classic Physique calendar, so that'll be pretty exciting too. So I'll be there at those shows covering those and giving you guys the latest on that. So before we get out of here, I want to make sure you guys, again, subscribe to the channel if you are not already. Like, comment, and share this video. Boost that algorithm. And also give me a follow on Instagram. It's CPC Bodybuilding. So that's going to do it for the weekly recap this week. I want to thank you guys for watching the best channel in Classic Physique, which is CPC Bodybuilding. I'm Brant, signing out. Make sure you guys keep it classic. I'll see you later.